Alrighty guys, you know what time it is. It is time for us to put some upgrades on the brand new Jeep JT Gladiator SCX24. We've got some wheels we're going to be installing today. These are RC four-wheel drive steel stamped beadlock wheels. Great little wheel, not too expensive. I paid about $25 for my set. These are wrapped in the RC four-wheel drive Wrangler, Goodyear Wrangler tires, the 1.0 inch of course, and we'll be getting those installed. Next up, we will be installing these two brass hexes up front. What those are going to do is just give the truck some weight up front to help it with those steep climbs and those obstacles, like the issue we were having in my review video on the bridge obstacle. For weight up front, we'll also be adding this brass front differential cover. This doesn't do much except for add more weight to that front axle, so that'll be going on with our brass there. And last, but certainly not least, probably the most important, is this servo here. This is an Emax ES08 MA2. I prefer the MD2, but this is the one I had laying around. The only difference between the two is one is analog and one is digital. So we'll be putting this analog servo on. If you're doing it yourself though, definitely go with the digital one. Let's dive right into it. Let's get these installs going. Alrighty guys, so we have our first round of mods installed here. Of course, we installed our RC four-wheel drive steel stamped beadlock wheels wrapped in a 1-inch Goodyear Wrangler MTR tire. So we got those on all four wheels, of course. I also added the brass front differential cover, brass wheel hexes, and also an Emax ES08 MA2 servo. Again, if you guys are doing this for yourself, I would strongly recommend the digital variant with it, which is an ES08 MD2 as opposed to the one that I have here. One other modification that I did, which I like doing, I think it's more fun, is I moved the stock shock mounting locations. So let me grab this tool here to point it out. Stock, these shocks are mounted up here for the front, right there in that little hole, and there's a little shock tower back here which I took out and it's mounted up here. If you move it to the rear bolt on the battery tray for the rear and the front bolt for the ESC tray for the front, what that does is it just allows you to get a little bit more flex out of these in their stock form. I normally do that to all my trail rigs that I build up. I think it's just fun, and it just really shows, it just makes it look cooler on the courses and the trails when you can get that extra bit of articulation out of it, which doesn't cost a dime. So great little modification to do. Now that these mods are installed, let's go ahead and get this thing on the trail or on the course that we've got set up and see how it performs. Alrighty guys, so here we go. We'll start crawling with these new mods and just see how the performance was impacted. Right now my rear disc hung up. I picked a bad line there, but let's just reline ourselves up and we should crawl right up this. There we go. Just had to find the right line there. Alrighty guys, now we're going to give this hill climb a shot and take the same line we took yesterday. The extra weight that we have in the front and these good grippy tires ought to give us an advantage here, and it seems to be handling it just fine. Now we're going to be dropping into this hill here with the more aggressive terrain, and here we're really going to be able to see that suspension flex. That spring mod I showed you is what's allowing this truck to flex a little bit more than stock and just give you a little more fun on sections like this. And again, we're going to be dropping down here. The extra weight we have in the front is actually going to hurt us slightly on the descents. It'll give us more traction, but it likely will cause the truck to roll over the front of itself a little bit more than we're used to. But there it wasn't an issue. This long wheelbase is really going to help avoid that as well. Now we'll climb up and give the Bridge of Doom a shot. Now for those of you who watched my video yesterday, you'll know that we had some issues with this particular obstacle. I think with these mods we're going to have no issue at all now getting up this one. Let's give it a shot. And look at that, we didn't even really have to get on the throttle all that hard. We were able to just skate right up that. And that's going to be mainly due to the extra weight we have in the front and the additional traction as well. So that's awesome to see. Let's run it back down and see how it handles that. Now bringing it down that same line, we got to be careful to not roll over sideways. Can get a bit hairy up top there, right there, but we seem to held on to it. So now we'll drop down onto the bridge and look at that, just slow, smooth, and controlled. One more thing I'd like to point out, guys, is this version 2 ESC has much better low-speed crawling control. Compared to the V1, it just really allows you to get those wheels spinning slower, just like the Fury Tech would if you've ever had the chance to run one of those. But I'm really enjoying this ESC. I think it's a huge upgrade for the stock format of this truck, so that's awesome to see. Guys, this video today hopefully is short and sweet with the first round of mods on this truck. I really think if any of you guys are looking at this and want to increase the performance by a decent margin, but don't want to spend a ton of money, this is the way to go. All in, we're at about $25 for the set of wheels. The tires are about $24 for all four, so that's $49. The servos, I believe, are about $15. So we're at $65 there, and then the brass bits, we'll say another $15 or so. So about $70 in upgrades, so certainly not a small value when you think about the price of this truck. But overall, I really love what they do to the performance of these vehicles. Thanks again for coming by and checking out the video, guys. I really love making the content, especially on these micro trucks. They're just a blast to run indoors in the winter here. If you like the video, feel free to drop a like. I would greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really enjoy seeing those subscriber numbers grow as we approach 3,000 here. So thank you again to each and every one of you for checking out the channel and checking out this awesome new truck by Axial. I'll see you next time.